start the recording.
I know you do. I know. I got it.
PBS hearing for Thursday, August 11th, 2022.
My name's Wayne Miller, board member.
I'm Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
And Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody testifying in this hearing, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and please respond.
Yes.
Mr. Boyle?
Yes,
Okay. Jace, take it away.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2022-003723 for 1922 Bainbridge Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Harrison Boyle.
Okay. Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this case?
So I have that a unsafe case was written against the following property at 1922 Bainbridge in association to some damage that was done following a construction that was happening at 1924 Bainbridge in association with possible underpinning and causing some structural issues to 1922. It is my assertion, and at the end of my opening statement, that I will be asking that this case be continued in that a notice of violation was inadvertently not sent out by the department to the property owner in 1924 Bainbridge. And in my opening statement, I'll further detail what the timeline is. We received an email from Mr. Boyle 2 days ago to the administrative board where it makes reference that an appeal had been filed or at least submitted into the department in September of 2021 following an unsafe case written against this property in association with the front wall being bulged and fractured. That case actually, Charlie Frank 2021-093136, that case was written on or around September 27th of 2021. When that case was written, the appellant or the owner, Mr. Boyle, did come to the department and file a appeal with the administrative board. The administrative board at that time, the actual department head or chair, Ms. Rand, took the application in and held it in that Mr. Boyle did make reference that he was going to be repairing the property. In saying that he was going to repair the property, that application was placed on hold and was not submitted into our system fully. The appellant did in fact pull a make safe permit. That make safe permit, RP Robert Paul 2022-001903. That permit was issued March 3rd of 2022 with the repair work being completed and that permit being finalized and the case being closed in reference to that permit in March of 2022. That case is actually closed March 21st of 2022. Approximately 2 months later in May of on or around May 20th, May 21st of 2022, we received a call of a possible structural defect or structural issue with 1922 Bainbridge in association with new construction that was being done in 1924. At that time, an unsafe case was written for conditions of the front wall being fractured and the rear shared wall between the two properties being out of plumb. At that time, that unsafe case was issued against 1922 and in our system 1924. But due to an error in our system, 1924's notice of violation was not sent out to the property owner by record. In preparing for today's hearing, I did find that that NOV to 1924 was not processed and was not sent by our system. So I manually sent out that notice to that owner of 1924 2 days ago. Being that they have not received that notice or may just be getting it today, they need to have their right to file an appeal. And Mr. Boyle has made reference that he has made contact with the owner of 1924. So in light of the new evidence being shared, in that 1924 hasn't had the opportunity to appeal the violation and explain or at least make the repairs, and the notice of violation indicating the possibility of an engineer's report indicating that 1922 is safe, or at least there had been some sort of communication with an engineering entity. My statement to the board is that this case should be continued for 45 days to allow for the docket or the appeal record to be straightforward.
Mr. Boyle, what do you got to say?
Okay, that sounds correct as to what has happened so far. The reason I did not appeal this violation notice is that I was told that the developer would also receive the notice and I should do nothing. It's on them. This is what Inspector DiSapato told me, take no action, that they are supposed to respond. Is that correct?
So I have in the documentation on the case record is that an engineering report was supposed to be supplied by an engineering firm. Who is supplying that report? I can't answer you. There makes reference of the notice from a Fidelis, and that is on your notice that was mailed to you. So my assumption is that Fidelis is the engineering firm that is being sought by the owner of 1924, but we would have to get that communication from 1924. If they came back and said, and the engineer came back and said, you know what, the wall was affected, but it is not structurally compromised, and that both properties are safe, and your wall is okay, and it didn't need any repair or anything done, then yes, the unsafe case would be marked complied. But if they came back and said that that wall had moved, they need to make the repairs, or you would have to make the repairs, and how you get compensated for that, I can't give you legal advice. But how that compensation would happen, that would be an open communication by you, sir, Mr. Boyle, and the owner of 1924.
Mr. Boyle, did they give you a copy of that engineer's report?
No, what I'm presuming is the Inspector DiSapato spoke with an engineer on the phone that was listed as working with the developer. What he wanted was for them to brace the walls before they continued, because he could see the party wall had begun to slightly move. It's visibly moved about an inch. It's as if the party wall has peeled just a little bit from the top front corner downwards. It's the classic thing we all get. Suddenly the front door doesn't fit, and it's just like the Inquirer. It's terrible. Now the developer, who I've encountered personally 3 times, keeps saying, "Don't worry, my guys will fix it." And the inspector said, "I don't do the appeal, they do the appeal." So I'm assuming what they wanted was not an engineering report, but a make safe report. He asked for a stamped letter from the Ray from Fidelis, presumably, a stamped letter saying they didn't have to stop work and brace the property. This has all become a moot point since 3 days after the report. They finished pouring the foundation, and at this point they have 3 stories of that entire house built in the space. So I'm assuming that bracing is not an issue. However, they've done damage to the front that needs to be corrected. It is not of incipient danger, but I've got front door that doesn't fit, cracks in the wall. They cracked one of my windowsills, sandstone windowsill, that kind of thing. At any rate, he keeps saying they will fix it. He's seen I've had the developer in the house to look at the damage. I don't know if I'm naive to believe him that he's going to fix it, probably, but you know, I can't really handle an adversarial relationship at this point. I'm a economically vulnerable senior, let's call it that. It's not something we'll ever plan to be, but somehow you get there. And you know, going to law would be very difficult at this point. So, you know, I'm at sea as I wish there was written somewhere a step-by-step process of what you as the affected homeowner are to do in this situation. But
Mr. Boyle, it would behoove you to get somebody that you hire to look at the house and not just let the developer say what's wrong and fix what he thinks is wrong.
well,
Kind of like car insurance, you want your own adjuster, you know, you want your own.
yeah, based on my prior experience of getting an engineer, that's by far the most expensive part of the process. The words "make safe," by the way, seem to cost an extra $500 over a regular report.
What about in your insurance company?
Now, as an economically vulnerable senior, I can barely afford my medical situation. I do not have homeowners insurance. I don't have,
Okay,
you know, there's a lot of us in this neighborhood. As you get down here, those who've been here 40 some years in a formerly redlined neighborhood. You know, we watched the housing values go up to a point where we couldn't really afford insurance to cover that kind of thing. So I'm saying too much about that. It's, you know, that's not an issue here. The issue is who is to file a report to get the corrections. I don't think the house is going to fall down. I'm certainly not happy about the damage, but you know, it's.
Mr. Boyle, just one question for you. Like I said earlier in my opening to the board is I can't give you legal advice.
Mhm.
What I can say is legal services is at 1400 Chestnut Street.
Yeah,
They're on the 1400 block of Chestnut. They're right next to a CVS.
as far as I understand, they don't actually handle this kind of case. They were very helpful in finally paying off my student loan. It took me most of my life, but as far as I understand, they don't actually have something set up for this. Do you know? Have you actually seen somebody appear with ALS assistance?
So you could reach out to legal services and they might be able to put you, give you a roadmap essentially of where to go. You could also reach out to the Philadelphia Bar Association. There are attorneys that are part of the Bar Association that do pro bono work. And if you are looking for some sort of a civil action against 1924, there are plenty of attorneys out there that may take this case for whatever you would receive on the back end of it. Like I said, it's worth having a consultation with somebody before you go on a different route. What I'm saying to the board today is we're not looking for any action. We know that there possibly could be repairs that need to be done. What I'm asking is that the case be continued for 45 days to give 1924 the right to appeal. If they don't file their appeal, I can't make them file an appeal, and neither can you. If they don't file an appeal, then the city can come in and say, hey, you had an unsafe case on the property, you still made the repairs, and you didn't get the correct documentation. Now we want the documentation that your property is safe. We also want the documentation that the neighboring property is safe as well. But I do think that you might want to reach out to the Bar Association and see if there might be some assistance that they could offer. But that's my assertion to the board today, is that we continue this case for 45 days to allow the other party to file their appeal. Hopefully they do. And then we can have both you and the and 1924 come in and basically find out what's going on with both properties.
Okay, That'll give me 45 days to find out what the legal situation really is, at least. Which will be
Okay,
45 days. Should I be, I know this is an issue for Councilman Squilla. Should I ask his office for assistance legally or recommendations?
I would,
I
I
would.
would open every avenue that is possibly there for you.
I would certainly do that if I was you.
All right,
Okay, so we'll know within 45 days what's going down. There'll be both come back in 45 days, Tom?
Yeah, I'll be,
Okay, all right,
yeah,
Mr.
I'm-
Boyle?
yeah,
Okay, all right,
I live, been here 40 years. Okay,
okay, you ain't going nowhere. I got it. All right,
thank you.
all right,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. All right, bye-bye.
All right, let me stop the recording. All right, we're back on the record. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started. I'm Wayne Miller. Oh, first of all, before we start, Jeremy, Ted had to leave. We don't have a quorum. It's just Amy and myself. And if you're comfortable with going on with the case, you certainly can. If you don't want to go on with the case, we can put you on the 18th, I believe.
Yes.
And
next week.
Han?
Next Thursday, the 18th is the next hearing for August.
Yes, next Thursday. The
So it's 1
18th, right. The 18th, and if you don't like the decision that we make, you always still can always go to the Court of Common Pleas. Okay, so it's up to you.
Will my client be able to proceed with building permitting if I secure your approval without quorum?
Yes.
Okay.
It will be variance.
Yep,
Then I would like to proceed.
okay, all right, let's go. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody in the, Jeremy, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, Jace, take over.
This is a BBS case number MI-2022-004573 for 1513 West Girard Avenue. For the record, can you please state your name?
Jeremy Lecomte of Harmon Deutsch Architecture, Harmon Deutsch Oler Architecture.
Okay, go ahead, present the case, Jeremy.
May I share screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I am here before you today because we are proposing windows on the east side of our structure that do not meet the fire separation distance requirements for the number of openings proposed. I have highlighted the locations of the windows that we are expanding to draw them to your attention. This is a 3-story existing structure. The walls are existing and there are existing openings in these walls, but we are proposing to increase the size of some of the openings in the wall to provide more light and air to the proposed residences in the building. What you're looking at now is the basement and first floor. Here is the second and third floor, and I've highlighted the windows that are being enlarged. So these aren't entirely new openings. These are existing openings that are being enlarged, some about doubled in size. I will show you the elevation as well. This is that east elevation where we are not complying. The portion of the wall to the left here is 2 feet 5 inches away from the shared property line. So no openings are actually permitted in that wall because we're less than 3 feet away. There are existing openings, and as you can see, we're proposing to enlarge one at the second floor. This portion of the wall to the right is 6 feet away from the shared property line. And similarly, there are existing openings and we're expanding many of them to provide more light and air to those residences. I have a site plan. So these are the existing site conditions. You can see this is the 2'5". If you can you see my cursor?
Yes,
Okay, so this is the 2'5" portion of the side yard, and this is the 6-foot portion of the side yard. There's an existing adjacent structure next to us, which is actually set back from Girard Avenue 20 feet. So there's a relatively new structure next door with a large front yard. So some of the windows proposed in this this wall that's 2 feet 5 inches away from the property line. I think it's safe to say this condition will remain for quite some time, so there won't be a structure in front of them. And then this portion already exists. And then this portion that you can see here is an existing court. So while the property line is only 6 feet away from this wall, the back portion of the wall, the existing parallel building line is a little more than double that. Can also show you an aerial photo. So this is the same conditions that you just saw on the site plan, but you can see the 20-foot front yard for the adjacent structure here. And this is our proposed structure with the existing side yard on the east side.
It's a 20-foot front yard, or are you including the sidewalk in that 20 feet?
No, that's the front yard. The sidewalk will be in addition to the 20 feet.
Oh, okay. Are they set back for parking?
There is no parking there. I have
Okay.
additional photos to show you the conditions. So they have a fence up at the street line that you can see in this photo here.
Okay,
They have some benches out there, so truly.
and
is a
we can
front yard.
see your windows.
Yeah, you can see some of the existing. windows
Barely.
here. Mhm. Yes.
So what I can see there, it's only the window at the second floor, you're making it a double.
I can go back to the elevation to show you. Yes, this existing
Yeah.
window will be enlarged, yes.
And then the other ones that are 6 feet off, they're gonna be double too, right?
Several of them, yes. I can go
Yeah,
back to
several
that
are gonna be
elevation.
double.
So this is that elevation. It kind of clarifies where we're expanding the existing openings. So we are slightly out of compliance at the portion that's set back farther, the 6 foot, because we have a NFPA 13R system proposed. If it were a 13 system, they would actually be compliant, but we have a R system proposed. The client would propose to install a sprinkler head at each of these proposed window openings to add additional protection at those locations. And as I stated before, this portion of the building, actually no openings are permitted by code.
But there are already existing windows there, right?
There are 3 existing windows, and we are
Yeah.
only enlarging one at the second floor. And where we're enlarging it, adjacent to that is the front yard of the adjacent structure.
Yeah, the 20, that'll be enlarged into the 20-foot opening from the front yard of the other building.
Right. So going back to that photo, that would be to the left of the existing window here.
Right there. Mhm. Okay. What do you
So
think,
what are
Jason?
what are the percentages in the back? What's allowed and what are you proposing? I don't think you ever go over 20%, correct?
So this is the east wall here.
Mhm.
So these first 3 are in the wall that's closer to the property line where no openings are permitted. So you'll see we're at 17.5 proposed, 9.5 proposed.
I thought on the first
That
floor
was
you
a-
weren't adding any openings. It was only the existing.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So you're right. This doesn't look right. So let me go to the refusal.
I think it just referenced the second and third floor level.
So the refusal is stating that we're at 18.4%, 22.7%, and 16.5% at the portion that is set back 6 feet. The code would permit 10% with a 13R system. It would permit 25, I believe, with the 13 system. Yes, 25.
It's already suppressed with the 13R?
We are proposing a 13R currently,
Oh, okay.
which is what this states here. That would be a
All the
new
same?
system. There's no existing system, so the 13R is proposed.
No, I don't
That
think we
was the
need to.
question.
No, I think if there's a sprinkle head over each window, I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right, I'm good with it. All right,
And I presume the neighboring wall is blank. It's a true party wall or a true wall on a property line with no openings,
Except for the area where the court is
except for their
located,
courtyard.
yes.
Okay.
okay. We're okay with it.
Okay,
Okay, good luck.
thank you.
All right.
Am I excused?
Yes.
All right, thank you for your time.
All right, see you, Jeremy.
Back on the record.
Okay, I just want to explain something to you first before we start. Normally, there's three people, three board members. One board member had to leave due to a medical reason. The thing is, we don't have a quorum. We need three people for a quorum. We only have two, myself and Amy Rivera. If you feel uncomfortable with just us making the decision on this case, you can certainly switch it to next week when there's the three board members will be here, or you can continue with the case. If you don't like our decision in the end, you still have the ability to go to the Court of Common Pleas to appeal it. So I just want to let you know what's going on, and it's up to you to make a decision.
Got it.
Okay? Are you comfortable with the two of us, or you want to wait the next week?
I'm fine proceeding. Rachel and Michael, if you agree.
I agree.
Okay, good. All right, so my name's Wayne Miller. I'm a board member.
I'm Amy Rivera, board member.
John Dime, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jace Correa, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody testifying in this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and respond, please. Again, if you can hear me, can anybody's going to be presenting the case or testifying in the case?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. If you could please respond.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Okay, good. All right, present the case. Oh, I'm sorry, Jace, take over and read it into the record.
Okay, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004568 for 1907 to 1911 Walnut Street. For the record, can you state your name?
Kelly Summers.
Okay, Ms. Summers, if you want to present the case, go ahead.
Yes, I'm looking to see if I can share my screen to put.
Sure.
Doesn't.
And do we have to read the case number?
There we go. All right, please confirm that you can see the screen.
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay, great. Trying to see if I can get the attendee list up. Okay, all right. So the question before the board today is if luminous egress markings need to be installed at the project at 1911 Walnut Street. This project is under construction. It is primarily an R2 use. There are condo units in the upper half of the tower here, and there are apartment units in the lower half of the tower. This building section indicates where we have assembly uses in the project as well. There is a condo amenity floor at the 26th floor of the tower, so about halfway up. And we have an apartment amenity floor at the 4th floor of the tower, right above the podium here. Those assembly spaces are for use by the residents of the tower only. They are not open to the public. They contain program areas such as, I can jump to the floor plan here to show you, but they include fitness rooms, yoga rooms, they include club rooms, some kitchen spaces, and some more business-centered amenities for the residents on the 4th floor. And then up at the 26th floor, the program uses include an indoor pool for resident use and associated locker rooms and steam rooms, more fitness spaces for the condo residents only, and a club lounge. So these spaces, again, not open to the general public for use by the R2 residents of the building. And as such, when we designed and permitted this project, we did not include luminous egress markings in these stairwells. It is a high rise, but because it is an R2 use, we believe that the exception applies to us to not include luminous egress markings. Even though there are assembly uses in the building, because they are not open to the public, our understanding and our reading of the code and section 1025 of IBC 2009, which is the code this was permitted under, is that we do not need to include those. The intent of the code is to provide an additional level of safety for exiting for transient populations and where there might be very high occupant loads in assembly spaces.
Can you
So
read that code? Do you have that
Sure.
code?
Yes, I
Oh,
do have it.
please.
I do have it here. So section 1025, luminous egress path markings. They require luminous egress path markings delineating the exit path in high-rise buildings, and then they define the uses that is applicable to. Note R2 is an exception, not applicable to R2. And then the commentary, which is what I have pulled up here, which provides a little more, a little better understanding of the intent of the code here, clarifies that the reason for that is because apartments, dormitories are not included given the familiarity of the occupants with the building. So this is why we are not including it at the Laurel. Just to be very clear, this project is permitted and is under construction. This issue came up due to an adjacent building that the developer is turning into an affordable housing component, and an inspector flagged it and said that we needed to provide luminous egress markings there. That was successfully overruled because there was no assembly space in that building. However, we wanted to be sure that we weren't going to get the same comment at this project, 1911 Walnut Street. Again, we're under construction, nearing completion here, and we want to make sure that it is not going to be an issue. So we filed an appeal at the recommendation of Betsy Baldwin to try and understand L&I's read on this and to make sure that it's consistent with our logic as we were designing the building. And then what ended up happening is we had another permit amendment into L&I for review that was unrelated to this topic. It was a few wall changes and it was denied. And the luminous egress markings issue, the fact that we do not have it, was flagged as the reason that that permit was denied. So that is why we are here today.
So, Jace, do you feel that that interpretation of the code is right?
I mean, the thing is, they reference the commentary, and the commentary specifically says it doesn't include R2s. They do have technically an assembly use on those. I think you said it was on the 5th floor and the 26th floor.
We have assembly uses. We have an amenity floor here on the 4th floor, and then up at the 26th floor. Those are the residential amenity spaces. Lower in the tower, we do have some retail, but that's up on the 2nd floor. It's very close to. It's not above 75 feet.
Yeah, hi,
Right.
this is Lieutenant Dimes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the commentary. I'm in the commentary all the time. The ones we talked about earlier were more business occupancies, but the reading of that, I believe she is correct. And I don't have a problem since these assembly spaces are just for tenants that are familiar with the building. I believe the logic of the appellant is pretty much right on. And the ones that are open to the public from the retail, them being on the 2nd level, I think also the interpretation is it is in a high-rise building, but it's on such a low level, I won't have a problem with it.
Okay, so, well, no, I'm fine with it, if that's what the case is.
Can we caucus briefly?
Sure, okay,
Sure, let me put everybody back. Could you stop,
okay.
Kelly, could you stop sharing, please, for just a
Sure.
second, or?
Yep. There we go.
Ms. Richardson, are we off the record?
We're off the record. Recording has been started.
Okay.
Okay, we just had a technical question among ourselves, so, but we do agree that, the code that you quoted is right, and you have your variance. Even though you
Great.
don't need it.
Thank you. Much
Okay.
appreciated. All
You're
right.
welcome, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the recording has started, and Mr. Kelly, we're back on the record.
Okay, Chris, before we get started, there's only 2 board members here. Normally, we have 3. The thing is that we don't have a consensus of 3 people. So what we're asking you, if you want to change your hearing to next week, you certainly can. If you want to go on and have the decision by myself and Amy Rivera, then we're welcome to do that. And again, just like in all cases, if you didn't like our decision at the end, you can always go to common pleas. Okay, so it's up to you guys what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
Just don't have a
moving
quorum.
forward. Yeah, yeah, we can move forward.
Okay, fine. All right. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
I'm Amy Rivera, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, if you're going to be testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay, good deal. Jace, want to take over?
Yep, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004820 for 1702 Walnut Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
My name is Chris Brick, and I'm representing RGLA, the architecture firm.
Okay, Chris, you want to present the case?
Yes, so we have a existing condition here. We are doing an interior remodel for the Vans store that is going into this location. And the existing condition here is the egress door on the back of the building has a 2-foot step from the interior surface down to the alleyway. What we're trying to do here is actually improve the existing condition by adding some stairs to the inside of the space rather than having a 2-foot step down out of the egress door. By code, and what the rejection was in our permit application was requiring us to have a landing on the inside of the space before you open the door. This isn't physically possible due to the existing condition on the inside of the space where there is another set of stairs near this door that go into the basement. I don't know if everyone has the documentation in front of them that we provided in the appeal that actually shows the existing floor plan and the proposed floor plan.
If you'd like to share a screen, you can show it to us.
Yeah.
All right, Jace will.
Okay. There's the screen. That's the plan that we were proposing in the upper left corner there.
Mhm.
So you can see that we have the existing stairs that go down to the basement are there. And we're proposing the 3 steps that go down to the doorway on the left.
And what happens outside that doorway?
That goes directly into the alley there. I think on the second page here of this appeal PDF, you can actually see I have photographs that I've provided.
So there's no room to put steps on the alley because there's a very small sidewalk?
Yeah, and I don't think that's personally, I don't think that would be our space to actually put steps on the outside in the alley. I don't believe that would even be allowed. So that is the existing conditions of what we're trying to improve here. Because obviously a 2-step directly out a door on an egress door is an unsafe condition.
So you want to, because what's the thing, inside you don't have a landing, so that would be the variance, the landing on the inside going out?
Exactly, right. There isn't not enough room to provide a landing on the inside of the space before the door. So basically at the bottom of the stairs there. You could see that if we were to do that, the stairs going down to the basement, that would literally be back to back. And obviously no landing at the top of the stairs then.
So that picture, right now, that step is very high,
Yes, it's 2 feet off the ground.
and it almost looks like it's very inset in the doorway. Is that not right?
No, it's flush with the back of the building.
Okay.
Jace, what would be, why is, what would be the downside of not doing this? Not giving the ability to inside to have that landing?
It's just the movement of occupants going in and out of the space, you know, if they were carrying something, things of that nature, you have
It's
that
awkward.
landing. Yeah.
It's an awkwardness.
Uh-huh.
In an emergency, you might, find yourself flailing against that door.
Yeah, what we would also probably do is put some signage on that door indicating, the condition, but I mean, the situation is there's not much we can do with this situation as far as what code would require us to do. This was existing on the building. I'm not sure how this was processed or approved in the past, but what we're just simply trying to do is make it a safer condition.
Mhm.
And we already have a set of doors that are already there in that building, the double doors that would be for loading, unloading merchandise.
And that's only emergency egress for the most part?
Yeah, it is. It's simply an emergency egress only. And we also have egress through the front of the store. So it's really more of a back of house, which at most would have 3 employees. So it's the secondary means of egress.
And if you did nothing, that is what it is now, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't touch it, it's just simply going to stay as it is.
Mm-hmm. You want to caucus, Aim?
Yeah, I guess we should.
Yeah. Could you put Chris in the room for a second?
You'll have to stop sharing screen.
Hey, Ted, you all right?
Whoops, sorry. No, I'm unmuted. Yeah.
Wait,
just,
we're recording. We're
Hold on
recording.
1 second, Ted.
That's okay. I'm good.
Where's Debbie? Deb, put Chris in the waiting room, please.
Certainly. And the other person as well. Let me put Mr.
Mr.
Heslin
Heslin.
in there as well.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And stop the recording.
And let me stop the recording.
Okay.
We're back on the record. Ted, can you just announce your name, please?
Ted August, board member.
Thank you.
Chris, we're going to give you the variance. We just had a little discussion that we needed to have, but yeah, we're going to grant the variance to you guys. Okay?
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Good luck with what you're doing. All right.
And then just a quick question is, what is the next process in the paperwork now that it's been approved?
Jace?
So once the board members sign off on this variance, the commissioner has to sign off. And then after the commissioner signs off, it gets sent to Christopher Hartland. He was a plan examiner, and then he proceeds with approving your application as long as you have no other additional information to process.
Fantastic. Great. Do you know how long that process takes?
It usually takes between 2 to 3 weeks, but again, if it's longer than 2 weeks, just give me you can send me an email.
Okay.
You have my first and last name on the screen right there, jace.scaria@phila.gov.
This key.
It's SKARIA.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, Chris.
Thank you. Have a good
Take it easy now.
afternoon.
Thank you.
You
Have a
too.
nice afternoon too. Let me put him out.
Okay, get that ready.
People are out. Let me stop the recording. And go back on the record.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, fire code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, if when you're testifying in the case, could you please raise your right hand?
Sure,
Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, all right, Jace, put it in the record.
Yep. This is BBS case number MI-2022-004912 for 3709 Midvale Avenue. For the record, can you please state your name?
My name is Chris Karakoff. I'm the applicant and architect.
Okay, you want to present the case?
Sure. What we were proposing, my client wanted to, there's an existing exterior porch on the side rear of her building, her existing residence, which the exterior wall is right in, basically on the property line, side yard property line. She wanted to enclose that to create interior living space to extend her living area of her kitchen that's in the adjacent room out to that area by basically adding windows in the open area that's there right now. So in doing so, we submitted the plans, and we are not in compliance with the fire separation distance, as was noted in the refusal. So because we are basically on the property line, and we're planning to remove the interior door that was from the exterior porch into the interior space to kind of, turn that into interior space. So that's where we got the refusal. I brought up the 2 points. My client is willing to, install a sprinkler system in this space to help bring it up, closer to code while it's, and then I also want to mention that the adjacent commercial structure is roughly 15 feet away. There's no plans for it to change in the near future. So that would leave us actual separation distance right now at 7.5 feet, which is the halfway point between our buildings. So.
But when you say install a sprinkler system, what's the extent of what you're proposing?
Essentially, sprinkler heads in that exterior, in that what is now the existing porch area. So in the case of a fire, they would trigger the sprinkler system in that room.
What would that be, a 13D?
Probably 13D, yeah.
Okay. All right,
I'm okay.
I'm okay with it if you do that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Chris?
Excellent. That's great. I really appreciate that, guys.
No problem, pal. Why don't you put
All
that
right.
in system in? It's good.
Can I just
Okay.
ask one question? How wide are those window openings going to be between those brick piers? They're not 6 feet, are they?
Well, the actual opening, let me take a look at the plan. I have it up here. Bear with me for a second.
What time is it?
But the individual windows won't be that wide. We have, we're proposing, new mullions in between to break it up into 3 separate windows between each column. They're roughly 24 inches each, I would say. But let me just double check so I'm not speaking out of turn here.
I'm only asking because I believe if it's a 6 foot wide window, 6 foot wide window, it needs 2 sprinkler heads. Is that right?
Yeah, yes.
To be no closer than 6 feet from.
Yeah, it can't be any closer than 6 feet.
Why don't we do this? We'll do whatever NFPA 13D would require in that room. I'll just put the note to do that, and then the sprinkler installer will do it that way.
They'll know, yeah. They'll
Yeah.
know not to put it 6 feet close, but they'll be over the windows too.
But over the windows is the key.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. All right, I
Thank you,
appreciate
Bruce.
it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Ted. Bases loaded, one
Debbie,
out,
you want to stop recording?
bottom of the ninth. We're down 3.
Yep, court report. Okay, we're back.
Yes, I
on the
am.
record.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jace Correa, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, Dan, could you just raise your right hand? Everything you say, is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Everything I say is the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh my God.
Okay, there you go. If you want to say that, I don't, some people don't like to say God, I say God.
Hey, you know, I'm going with
You're
the
probably
flow.
a Catholic kid, I can look at you.
Yes, sir, Irish Catholic. Hey, listen, Wayne, before we begin,
Hold on, Dan, let us get you into the record.
Yeah.
Okay, go,
Um,
Jason.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2022-001801 for 1021 Addison Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Daniel McGranahan.
Okay, Dan, explain to us what was happening you called 11 contractors and nobody will do it. And the issue, what was their
Absolutely.
issue?
Okay, so real fast, again, I appreciate everyone's time. It's good to see everybody again. Mr. Wayne, Mr. Miller, long story short, no lie, I have 21 places I've called, 21 fire suppression sprinkler, people in Philadelphia. Now, 1/3 won't answer the call. 1/3 does not do residential, and the other third is the biggest problem we have going on. They won't touch PEX. I have a PEX system in my home. They won't touch it, and they say, "Oh, you're working with Mr. Wayne Miller. Let me call him." And then they would say they just won't do it. So I'm trying to do the right thing with the city of Philadelphia. I got the windows installed. They are ready to be inspected 5 months ago, to be exact. Fortunately, the supervisor in the Central East District of License Inspection is denying that because apparently I did not know I needed a permit for that. I did not know I needed plans. I did not know because they want to verify that the sprinkler system was installed by a fire suppression
Licensed fire suppression contractor, right?
They don't want to make sure Joe Schmo, is saying they take his word for it. So 5 months later, I'm calling everybody and nobody can help me. And I mean, literally like right here on Google Maps. I mean, I called it and I literally looked up. I learned a lot about fire sprinklers and how the process works. I mean, I've learned a lot. But there seems to be a little bit of confusion between L&I and other contractors in regards to, for example, do I need flow counts? Do I need a backflow preventer? First, I had no idea what that stuff meant. And it's called a limited system is what I need. And when I say PEX, all the contractors say, I'm going to stop you right there. Have a good day. Sorry to be rude. I cannot help you. I cannot help you at all. So, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, Wayne. Out of all 21 phone calls I did, I received one quote, and that was from Affordable Fire Protection, a gentleman by the name of Patrick. And it was $4,000, and he does not know it's a PEX system. And there's still more to be included. And I think I need to hire an additional plumber. So things that I did learn that these sprinkler guys informed me that we're kind of breaking code in order to meet a code. And what I mean by that is code, obviously they won't touch PEX. And then I learned that if you have a square footage of 55 and less, it's irrelevant. You don't need a sprinkler in that room. Both bathrooms are well under 55. I have a little powder bathroom on the first floor is 27 square foot, and the upstairs is a 45 square foot. And they say, wait a minute, you need it in a bathroom? That's not normal. Normally we do it throughout the house except for the bathroom. So it's a lot of are you sure about this? I'm like, listen, I'm telling you what this supervisor of license inspections wants. And I can read you his email. His name is John Doherty from the Central East office. And I met a lot of people, talked a lot. I'm just trying to honestly do the right thing and get this monkey off my back. And it's just way too much of a headache and it's way too complex than it should have been. And they seem to think that I may not need a sprinkler system or it's something that is way overkill. Now, other things that I can present to the board that, yes, other precautionary measures I've taken once those windows have been installed. It's a 900 square foot home, tiny house. There are 6 fire smoke detectors in that home, 6, and one of the upgraded, or the Nest, so I live in Florida. My father lives in the home in Philadelphia, and I can control everything by the palm of my hand. There is a direct fire hydrant less than 30 feet. It's Miss Debbie, I did send you some pictures. I'm not sure if the board cares to see that or not, but right outside those windows, you can see there's a fire hydrant, direct access. And I think one of the biggest things was we were going through that party wall. And one thing I want to be clear, it's 23 feet from the windows to the setback of the next property, 23 feet. So in my eyes, I'm not a fire expert, but if a fire were to, God forbid, happen, I can't see how, 23 feet away from a setback through all that party wall that hasn't been touched. Again, I'm more of a visualer, so if you guys were to see pictures or anything like that, you'd understand. But it's just a very, very complex. It's not complex, but it is complex, and it's, I'm requesting to the board to see if this sprinkler system can be dismissed to where I don't have to refinance my mortgage, and hell, if I can even have anybody even come out and install it. So. And with that, I believe I pretty much said everything I needed to, and appreciate your
The
time.
thing is that I had the contractors, some contractors call me and say that they won't touch PEX either. They won't do it. Because there's a lot of problems once you start messing around with PEX, and they're not going to be liable for all the stuff that goes on with that. So again, the reason the board said to put heads over the windows is because, first of all, you can't have windows on so close to the property line. That's why they said that. We said that, and assuming that they had PVC in there, and they would cut into PVC. Contractors don't have a problem, but once you hit PEX, they won't do it. So the thing is, I don't know what else to do. With that, and it's only for 2 heads, 1 head over each window. So I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, but the sprinkler contractor won't do it. So and a plumber contractor can't do it because they're not licensed, or they have licensed installers.
Right.
And again, is there anything else we can do to take care of this?
Just a couple of quick comments that, because of things you said. It's the fact that the openings are in the property or along the property wall as opposed to the size of the rooms. I mean, you could have a 8,000 square foot room behind it, or you could have a 20 square foot room behind it. So it's really that proximity. And our concern, we appreciate the setback. We looked at that as well. But if there's a car parked there, you're vulnerable if the car was on fire, or if you had a fire, it could, car could burst into flames. So that's why we felt there needs to be some level of protection there. There are windows that are rated windows, a 2-hour rated window. They're not cheap, and I know you've just put in the windows you have there.
Right.
So I just want to point those out. I'm not talking in terms of the other options at the moment, but
Again, just learning as I'm going. That's the feedback when you call so many people and you learn different things, and it's like, well, I've never done that before, and normally code is this, and like I said, they didn't say head in stone, like this is what the Philadelphia code states. This is like, this is like the general rule of thumb type thing, just from word of mouth, and when I'm hearing all kinds of feedback from all the phone calls that I'm making. So.
Thing is, like again, they won't do it. They won't put these sprinkler heads in there in the PEX system. I know that. And I don't know what else you can do.
Is the basement finished?
It is not finished. No, it's a clean finished basement. It's not livable basement.
I guess I meant, is there a ceiling?
Is there a ceiling?
Mhm.
Well, no, there's no drywall above, but there, you can see the beams and you can see the next floor.
And is there plumbing down there that's copper, cast iron, what's where the water service comes in? I
So-
assume on that street.
Okay, yeah, now there is a picture I can verify. There is a copper coming in. So to answer your question, you're looking about 6 inches coming in from the wall, then it makes a 90-degree turn. Then you're looking about maybe about a foot before, I'm being generous, a foot before it hits the water meter. After that water meter, you're looking at 4 inches and it converts all the way throughout the whole entire house of the PEX. So, you know, I've heard a couple things, you know, regarding that, but you're being honest with you, you're looking at, I'd have to say maybe a foot of copper coming in. And in with that, then you have, you know, the main shutoff valve. So you do have some other interruptions before that.
But
But
there's PEX coming out of the meter, you're saying?
past the meter, about 4 inches past that meter is PEX, correct?
Oh, okay.
The
And
water
does that
meter.
come in that corner?
The water line, the 3/4 inch copper comes in at the corner of the basement, yes.
Okay,
And it's actually right underneath, all that is right underneath those windows. You have
that's
your
what I
big-
meant. Is it right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's all direct shot. So working with these fire department, you know, with the fire sprinkler guys, they, you know, luckily I didn't have to go all the way down and learning 90s and 45s and feet down the road, but it's just, you know, once I say PEX, it's like, see ya, goodbye, have a good day. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I come in peace.
Yeah, the thing is, what Ted's getting to is that if they could solder a T into the copper first coming in and just run the 3/4 up and put it at the windows, they think that would suffice, you know what I mean? But I don't know how difficult it is. I don't know how much room they have when they come in through that wall with
Right.
with the
Would
copper.
would they be allowed to do that before the meter?
No. No,
Yeah. Even though the only time it would be used would be. if
yeah, they
there's-
won't be allowed to do it before the meter. no.
Exactly. And that was one of the things, and they're not sure of to me, in my eyes, the pipe is fine, but they don't know the true integrity of that pipe.
Well, the pipe come in, they don't, it's old, isn't it, that piping, that 3/4 piping?
It, I would assume it is old because, I mean, it's as old as I am.
Mhm.
I'll tell you that. It's as old as I am. Now, knock on wood, I haven't seen any leaks or anything,
Yeah,
but
but they don't
also
want to
the
disturb
clearance-
it, yeah. I
Remember, the
understand what you mean.
clearance coming out from the wall, when they make that 90,
Yeah.
they're not sure, whatever they need to bite on would interfere with that back wall. So that's when they get involved with a plumber, and then, well, you have to get your plumber involved, and we don't do anything with plumber, and then now you gotta. have
But
two
it's still
different-
before the meter.
Oh, yeah.
They're not gonna let that. They ain't
Yeah,
gonna do
the 4 inches you mentioned between the meter and the beginning of the PEX, that's not enough, I assume, to,
No.
yeah.
I wish I had a pick, no, because you have bolts that actually tie in with the meter.
Yeah.
And,
It goes, it limits the amount of inches in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing is that I know you made every attempt. You know, because like I said, I had contractors leaving messages in my office. So, it's like, you know.
I'm sorry, listen,
That's all right.
I was just trying to be persistent, man. I'm new to
I
like
got
this.
you.
The last thing I want to do is get this monkey off my back and just do
Yeah,
the right thing.
I don't see it any other way of doing it.
I mean,
You know, so, I don't know if we want to give them a variance on the windows, we can do that. I don't know any other way. Especially with the sprinklers, you know.
We should caucus.
Okay, we'll caucus. Put Danny in the waiting room for a second.
thank you, guys.
All right, Tom.
Stop the recording. Are we done?
No, we just,
We're just putting Danny in the waiting room for a second. We're gonna caucus. All right, Deb?
When at home.
Okay, we're back on the record.
Dan, we got the same problem as the contractors. We can't be setting a precedent that the windows are in the side there unless there's something that we could do to make them rated. If we could get rated windows, then you wouldn't need the sprinklers.
Rated window. Now, I know, can you define rated windows to me? Because I know it's a Simonton, I forget what series, but I'm
It's a-
trying to,
It would have to be a 2-hour fire rated window assembly
okay,
of whatever kind. I mean, could be casement, could be double. I don't even know what the options are for that.
Glass block.
Could be
Glass,
glass brick, I mean, which is essentially a solid glass.
whatever, whatever type of glass that you could get. I don't know, a glazer might know that. I'm not sure. Just to change to give you a 2-hour rating.
a
You don't need a
2-hour
sprinkler
rating.
system then. Yeah. What
Okay.
did you come up with any windows?
I'm sorry, myself?
Did you come up with any rated windows?
Well, I know what the window's already installed and everything, so I know it's a Simonton, which is a good brand through Home Depot. I know that, I could call the manufacturer and get the ratings and stuff like that for you, but I know they're not a cheap, I know it's not a cheap window. It's a double hung, low E argon, the whole nine.
But this is, I mean, a fire rated window assembly is a different animal.
Right.
Nobody would have just sold you that without you requesting it.
Right. I know with it being bathrooms, gotta be tempered, so, little things like that, but I didn't know anything about, fire rated windows or this is all new to me, so.
Sure. Or if you can get fire rated windows, that'd be fine. You don't want to brick them up, I'm sure, but that would be another option. Or try to get, if someone could leave a T when it comes out of the meter. You can't do it before the meter because the city, but the thing is if they could do it after the meter, they could sweat a T in that 4-inch copper, or somewhere in there, and then they
Right.
can run the 2 heads up.
Right.
And I don't know how they're gonna do that. Or if the contractor's gonna do that, I'm not sure.
Respectfully, that's why they're not really, it's really hard to get in touch with these guys and they don't, they're good guys, they're doing their job, they're just busy, it's just, it's like pulling teeth, man.
Yeah.
I could be wrong that you may find 2-hour window assemblies, readily that are sized right and fit in and meet, the rating. But it's pretty straightforward if you were to replace the windows with a glass brick, a 2-hour rated glass brick, because that's order, you'll get the rating with those.
Okay.
And that's just filling the full, wall to wall, brick to brick, on each window. And
Now,
I think it'd probably be less expensive, frankly.
How does
Not
it,
operable,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Amy, you're
but
saying.
not operable. You can't open a glass brick window.
Oh, the windows would not be up, you could not open those windows.
Not if it was glass brick, we're saying, but a rated window, you can get a double hung rated window.
Okay. Okay, again, I'm learning as I'm going. Now, on the notice of of decision, how will it state to the license and inspection guys? Because the supervisor, every time I come out, I call him for an inspection. He says, nope, you need a permit, you got to get a sprinkler in there. What will be the new terminology you guys are going to use for I tell them about the window? What will it state on the notice of decision?
So for your application, you had a residential, it's an RP permit, right, Daniel?
RP permit, I think.
Let's just double
Yes,
check.
RP. Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
so what you do is what we do is we forward the notice of decision to the examiner. The examiner references that in the permit language stating that, hey, you can either do the sprinkler head option, or you could go for the fire rated glazing, fire rated exterior wall opening. Okay, And then once that permit's issued out, then, John would know that in the field that these were one of the variance options. So that's how you get it done. So what happens is, well, after this, we write up the new notice of decision. And then once the new notice of decision is signed up by the commissioner, then it goes to the examiner, and then the examiner approves a permit referencing those conditions, and then you
When
can
everything
proceed.
gets signed off, right? Okay,
All right, but in the meantime, what I would suggest is try to figure out what you want to do. See if you want to do the sprinkler heads or you want to do the fire rated glazing. And then we're gonna have to update the plans calling that out, and then we would issue out the permit. So, you're gonna get 2 weeks for the commissioner to sign off on the variance, and then figure out what you want to do, update the plans, and then just submit it to the plan examiner.
so if I want to take the window route, I don't have to update any plans, I just have to prove that the specs of that window are to our,
Right, what you would do is on the plans, you just call out 2-hour window, 2-hour rated window on the plans. And then the examiner could also just reference that in the permit language. I could let the plan examiner know, okay?
understood.
All right, and if you have any issues in contacting the plan examiner, you could always contact me. My name is Jace. You can see it on the screen, jace.scaria@phila.gov.
Okay, yeah, I see, the plan, Bar Geesh, I think was my plans examiner. I don't know
Yeah,
if
he's not in my unit, but I can easily get in contact with him.
understood, okay. All right,
Okay, Dave?
listen, guys, I'm sorry for the headache, I didn't think something like this would be so complex and just, I appreciate your time. Again, we're just trying to, just get this monkey
I
off.
know. I know you are.
So,
All right, pal.
listen, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.
You too, Dave.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Thank you.